The Unacceptable Love Between a Muslim Girl and a Christian Boy. A novel by Dr. A. Ahmed. This is an intriguing epic story which resonates with love, resilience, courage, and sacrifice. Copyrights. All rights are reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means without the prior written permission of the author, except by a reviewer, who may quote brief paragraphs for a review to be printed in a public newspaper, general magazine, school journal, or university article. This story is a work of fiction, but the entire novel is based on a real love affair between a Muslim girl and a Christian boy. All names, characters, places, and events are either the product of the author's imagination or used literary. Therefore, any resemblance to actual people, living or dead, events, or locales is merely coincidental.
Chapter 9. The Rejection of the Second Muslim Wife. The beautiful newly wedded bride Isra has flown to Egypt all alone on the following day, after her wonderful wedding celebration is over. Her wedding, which has been celebrated without her groom, has been attended by over 50,000 guests plus uncountable numbers of their little ones and their domestic animals. Her plane has landed at the Alexandria International Airport in the evening on the same day. She has no clue where she is going to Egypt. She had been given by her father-in-law an address of a hotel, who ordered her to take a taxi from the international airport and go directly to that hotel and meet her groom Munir Abdul Basit. When you arrive at the airport, show this hotel's address to any taxi driver and ask him to take you there. And when you reach the 5-star hotel, ask the front desk about the room that has been booked for you and your groom. Your husband is going to meet you in that hotel. Do not forget to enjoy your honeymoon and take care of yourself and your groom. Those are the words that Mr. Abdul Basit imparted to his one-day daughter-in-law before he sent her to her plane. He flew her from Wadi Madni to Khartoum in his private jet. Moreover, he gave her so many Egyptian currencies and traveling checks in US dollars, which is enough to keep her with her groom for a year in Alexandria. In addition, before he kissed her goodbye, he gave her a sealed letter to his son Munir, and told her never to open it on her way. The letter is supposed to go to the front desk, and the hotel manager is expected to pass it to Munir in his room. Then the father-in-law said to his daughter-in-law in profoundly serious words, "Never come back to Sudan without your lawful husband Dr. Munir Abdul Basit." During her 4 hours and 36 minutes flight from Khartoum to Alexandria, Isra tried to understand the words of her father-in-law, but she could not. She is not that smart girl who can read between the lines. Her mother told her that her groom is sick in a hospital in Alexandria City, and that she is going to visit him on his sickbed. But then, she heard from his father that her groom is in a hotel, and not a hospital. No matter how much she tried, she could not figure out how to solve that riddle. Isra has never been outside of her country before. She saw so many TV series and movies about Egypt. She is always wishing that someday she can be able to visit Egypt and see the beautiful beaches of Alexandria that she saw often in those Egyptian movies and TV series. Albeit, when her dream came true, she wished that she would have gone to that wonderful Mediterranean city with her beloved handsome boyfriend, the Coptic boy Mamdouh, rather than with her groom Dr. Munir. She still loves her infidel boyfriend and longing for his kisses and hugs. Although her angry mother forced her to spit on his face and slap him, she continues to love him and wishes to spend the rest of her life with him. She does not love her groom Munir. Sadly, her Muslim parents had forced her to marry a Muslim boy she does not love at all, and she has left the Coptic Christian boy she loves with all her being. Isra began to feel the effect of her stunning beauty on the male guests as soon as she entered the corridor of the International Sheraton Hotel. Every man began to screen her marvelous beauty while she is walking inside the hotel in her lovely wedding dress. Out of jealousy, many ladies have whispered their nasty gossip to one another when they have seen a lovely bride without her groom. But for the men, she has appeared without a groom, as if she is a foreign princess who has come to spend her summer on the sandy beaches of that famous tourist city. No one of them could believe that a lovely bride could come all the way from her country to Egypt without her handsome groom. Which groom in the entire world could leave such a beautiful girl to stay all alone in a hotel without enjoying her sexy body? As soon as she reached the front desk, the lonely bride Isra has handed over the sealed letter that her father-in-law had given her to an Egyptian girl. She then requested her to deliver it to the room's address that is jotted on its beautiful envelope. The full name of her groom has been written on it. Isra, being a simple and naive girl, has never expected that her husband with his first bride will be staying in the same hotel she has come to stay in. She thought that the letter is going to be delivered to someone staying in that room, and that person can take her to the hospital where her sick Muslim groom Munir is hospitalized. Therefore, she has followed the bellboy to her room, and almost forgot about the letter. Before she can change her wedding dress, she has heard a heavy knocking on the door of her room. She has rushed to the door fearing that someone may knock it down if she does not open it in time, and comes inside and rapes her. To her unpleasant surprise, she saw her groom Munir, and another young girl standing in front of her eyes. She has been taken by surprise and frozen in her place, as if her entire body has been struck by paralysis. She has become extremely frightened to see her sick groom standing in flesh and bones before her naked eyes. There is nothing on his face to indicate that he is sick or has come out of a hospital. On the contrary, his angry face has shown that he has come to fight with her rather than to consummate his marriage with her. Why had you listened to your foolish parents and obeyed my arrogant father and stupid mother, and agreed to marry me without my presence and against my wish and consent? Before she could answer his question, he added, I am already a married man, and here is my wife Sha'inus. I am not going to spend a single second with you because I don't accept you as my wife. Munir shouted those words, while he was pointing his finger at Isra, as if he were pointing a revolver at her. The lonely bride has found herself without words to respond to his denial of their matrimonial relationship. She just covered her face with both hands and began to weep. The first bride Sha'inus felt pity for the second bride Isra, when she saw the tears are falling from her beautiful eyes like large drops of rain. You must immediately leave this hotel, return to the international airport, and fly back to your despicable mother and my silly father and tell them what I have told you, shouted the groom Munir again. When the rejected bride continued to weep without saying a word, Munir resumed his condemnation. Don't think your tears are going to change my mind or fool me that you are an innocent girl. If you are a good girl, you wouldn't have slept with that infidel Christian boy Mamdouh, who had impregnated you and filled your womb with an illegitimate baby. And now you want me to be the scapegoat and shield you from your adultery. Go back to that Coptic dog or call him here to spend your honeymoon with you. My dear husband Munir, interrupted the first bride the words of her groom, it isn't her fault alone. Her parents forced her to leave her lover and marry you. You must blame your father who sent her to you. But she had allowed an uncircumcised filthy boy to commit adultery with her. Still, we cannot blame her for becoming pregnant without the sanctity of the Islamic marriage bond because the Coptic boy Mamdouh is her Christian lover. She knew as a Muslim girl the Islamic Sharia couldn't allow her to marry him, said Sha'inus while is trying to cool down her furious groom Munir, and protect his new Muslim bride Isra from the embarrassment and humiliation she is going through. I am not going to allow her to spend one night with us in the same hotel. If she does not go away, we will vacate the hotel right away and go somewhere else. She is a bad and wicked girl. Being the daughter of the biggest religious leader in the city, still she has an abominable love affair with an infidel Christian boy, and she allowed him to fill her womb with shame. She had sex with him many times until she became pregnant out of adultery. After her mother and she got rid of the illegitimate baby through illegal abortion surgery, they want me to accept her as my second Muslim wife. No way, I am not going to accept a whore as a wife even if she is the last girl in the world. Please Munir, I am begging you to stop insulting her. At least let me talk to her alone and verify what you are saying about her. The extremely angry Dr. Munir is not willing to allow his rejected second bride to spend a single hour in the same hotel until his first bride has pushed him away and begged him to return to their joint room. Then Sha'inus requested Isra to allow her to enter her room and have some private talk with her. Although the crying bride retreated to her room without inviting her to come in, still the first bride followed her inside the room. She then requested her to tell her about her so-called abominable love affair with the Coptic boy and what had happened between them. Isra has been moved by the loving and compassionate nature of Shah Inus and revealed to her from A to Z the entire love story between her and her Christian boyfriend. She has admitted that as lovers they had hugged and kissed each other many times, but they had never had sex. After that, she told her about her mysterious pregnancy, and how her mother got rid of it through that powerful witch doctor. Isra concluded her tragic story by saying, "Dr. Kamiz gave me some black substance which is called Mahaya, and then he asked me to drink it. When I became half-conscious, he massaged the baby out of my womb." Being a medical doctor, Shah Inus has understood that Isra is a victim of religious superstition, and her so-called illegitimate pregnancy was not real in nature, but a phantom pregnancy. She has correctly concluded that the so-called mighty witch Dr. Kamiz had cured her through the black substance that he gave her to drink, and most probably he massaged her swollen stomach, and that was how he healed her from that phantom pregnancy. Shah Inus admired the truthfulness of Isra when she told her that she still loved Mamdouh, and wished to marry him, and spend the rest of her life with him. She then told her that she must be a smart girl, and never accept what her Muslim parents had forced her to do against her wish. She is now a free girl and extremely far from them. She can contact her Christian boyfriend by phone, and ask him to come from Sudan to Egypt and marry her. Isra has liked the idea, and confessed that she is wishing that her Coptic lover Mamdouh, and not her Muslim groom Munir, will be her life partner, and both spend the rest of their married life together outside of Sudan. Immediately Shah Inus has promised her that she shall convince her groom Munir to revoke that wrong marriage contract his father and her father conducted in the biggest mosque in Wadi Madani without their knowledge and consent. On that same day, the loving girl Shah Inus somehow has convinced her angry groom about the innocence of Isra, and requested him to join her in helping the innocent girl to bring her Christian boyfriend from Sudan to Egypt and marry him. As soon as Munir accepted the brilliant idea of his first bride, he went to Isra in her room, and asked her to forgive him for accusing her of all those rumors he heard about her. Then in front of his first Muslim bride Shah Inus, he has pronounced the divorce of his second Muslim bride Isra 3 times, which meant final and irrevocable divorce. Shortly after that, the divorced bride Isra has phoned her Christian boyfriend Mamdouh, and disclosed to him her willingness to marry him if he agrees to forsake his Coptic family and country for her sake and fly to her in Egypt, and both can get married and spend their honeymoon in the most expensive hotel in Alexandria city. When Mamdouh heard the voice of his beloved Muslim girlfriend Isra talking to him from the most beautiful city in the Arab world, he could not believe his ears. Before he received her phone call, he heard that his beloved Muslim girlfriend Isra has got married to her Muslim fiancé Dr. Munir, and concluded that he lost her forever. But then, when she has phoned him and agreed to marry him against the wish of her Muslim parents, his joy knew no limits. He has reminded his beloved Muslim girlfriend that it was he who suggested both should run away to a far city or another country and get married without the consent of their families, but she refused his idea many times. It seemed that God has fulfilled their unattainable wishes in an extraordinary way, and used those who plotted their final separation to bring about their everlasting union. Then the extremely happy Christian boy Mamdouh told his beloved Muslim girlfriend Isra, "If you ask me to come to you on the moon and marry you, I shall fly to you with the speed of light." Chapter 10. The fruits of true love and the consequences of the religious scandal. It took the Christian lover Mamdouh 1 week to get a visa to Egypt. He has already a valid passport and traveled a couple of times with his parents to Cairo city, when they visited their Coptic relatives over there. He has not shared his plan of escaping with anyone, including his own Christian family. He just took off and left Sudan and decided never to return to that country where love between a Muslim girl and a Christian boy is considered a taboo and a big disgrace, and marrying a person of a different faith is a serious crime punishable by the law. The hotel allowed Mamdouh to stay with Isra because she had claimed that he was her groom, and for some reason, he could not fly with her. Since the hotel is open for foreign guests, the girl, at the front desk, has not bothered to ask Mamdouh to prove his matrimonial relationship with Isra. She has allowed him to stay with his bride without registering him as a guest. She had not even bothered to ask his name, or required him to produce any official document to prove his identity. It is the first time in their lives that the two separated lovers have been able to stay together without the fear of being caught and punished by society. As soon as Mamdouh arrived in Alexandria, the kind girl Sha'inus has convinced him to pretend to be a Christian boy who has converted to Islam. She had already convinced Isra and Munir of her plan of faking a conversion to play around the Egyptian law, which is mostly based on the teachings of the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad, and hence cannot permit a Christian boy to marry a Muslim girl. Sha'inus also told Mamdouh in his heart he can continue to follow his Christian religion and Isra her Islamic religion. As a matter of fact, Sha'inus is an atheist girl who doesn't believe in any religion or care about any religious authority whatsoever. She is also a feminist, and for her, God doesn't exist. Even if the Coptic boy worships the devil and is not harmful to her or society, she is not going to hate him or try to persecute and discriminate against him. Mamdouh welcomed the brilliant idea and went with Munir to a mosque and made a lips confession of his pseudo-conversion to Islam and obtained a certificate. On the following day, the two lovers got married in another mosque. Munir claimed to be the brother of Isra and acted as her guardian wali, and gave her in marriage to his Coptic friend Mamdouh Abdul Masih, who recently converted to Islam. Thereafter, the newly wedded couple for the first time have been able to have sex with each other, and that is in the most beautiful and expensive hotel in Egypt. Mamdouh has become extremely pleased when he slept with his lovely bride and discovered she is a sealed virgin, who has never had sex before with any guy. He then believed the story of the phantom pregnancy, and how the mighty Dr. Kamiz had treated it. The newly wedded couple could not believe that they were truly married to each other. Their first wedding night is the happiest day of their life. After they had spent 1 week of their honeymoon in that beautiful hotel, the intimate lovers Mamdouh and Isra moved out of the hotel and rented an apartment. Of course, the 2 weeks that the lovely bride Isra Al-Qadir had spent in the 5 Stars hotel had been already paid for by the wealthy man Abdul Basit. She had spent 1 week alone, and the second week she had spent as her first honeymoon with her handsome Christian groom Mamdouh Abdul Masih. In addition, Isra has thousands of US dollars that had been given to her as traveling checks by the same generous Sudanese rich man. Moreover, she has thousands of Egyptian currencies plus over 1 billion Sudanese pounds in her bank account. All these monies had been given to her by her former father-in-law. In addition, her former wealthy ex-generous mother-in-law had decked her from head to feet with jewelry of pure gold. She had bought for her earrings, bracelets, necklaces, brooches, anklets, hairpins, cufflinks, nose rings, foot-toe rings, finger rings, belly chains, armlets, or armbands, circlets, plus 7 expensive watches. She told her each day of the 7 days of the honeymoon week she should wear a different watch, shoes, and dress. If she sells all her expensive pieces of jewelry, she may get over 50,000 US dollars. Her wealthy in-laws had also purchased for her uncountable luxurious and costly dresses and shoes. The other newly married couple, Munir and Sha'inus, continued to stay in that hotel until they completed their summer vacation and enjoyed their honeymoon. They spent almost 2 months in that expensive hotel. Dr. Munir had used the bank account of his wealthy daddy and spent the longest honeymoon in the world with his pretty bride Dr. Sha'inus on the sandy beaches of the Mediterranean Sea and the 5 Stars Hotel of Alexandria. When the lovers have returned to Sudan, after a couple of months, Sha'inus is already pregnant. In the meantime, the other 2 intimate lovers Mamdouh and Isra have applied for visiting visas to Greece. As soon as their applications have been approved, they flew from Alexandria to Athens and left the Muslim world for good. Before they flew out of Alexandria, Isra had converted all her Sudanese and Egyptian currencies into US dollars. They are planning to seek refugee asylum in Greece as religiously persecuted lovers who are following 2 different religions. They decided to mention in their applications because they are following different religious faiths, Islam and Christianity. Their families wanted to kill them, but God miraculously rescued them and brought them to Egypt first and then to Greece. Especially, the Muslim girl Isra, because her father is the imam of the biggest mosque in her city. He attempted to murder her in honor killing when he came to know she fell in love with a Christian boy. Her Muslim mother had accused her infidel lover of making her virgin daughter pregnant by an illegitimate baby, and therefore she attacked him and was about to stab him and kill him with her kitchen knife and cut his penis when he came to her house. If he had not pushed her down and run away from her, the outraged Muslim mother said to her daughter she would have slaughtered him like an unclean dog or a dirty pig. She refused to allow her Muslim daughter to have a love affair with him because she had called him an unclean pig, a filthy dog, an uncircumcised infidel, and a Christian boy who worships Satan, and on his way to hell. Moreover, she forced her Muslim daughter to spit on his face and slap him in front of her. She believed it is a great abomination in Islam if a Muslim girl marries a Christian boy. Besides that, she told him and her daughter that it is against the Sharia in a Muslim country such as Sudan for a Muslim girl to marry a non-Muslim man, especially a Christian guy. Based on those strong reasons, the religiously persecuted lovers have been granted refugee asylum in Greece. Still, the lovers informed the United Nations office that their lives are in great danger in any European country. They claimed that they knew the wealthy business tycoon Mr. Abdul Basit, who conspired with Isra's parents and had married her to his son Munir against her wish, quite often travels to Europe. Therefore, he may come to Athens and hires the mafia gang and kill them both. For that reason, the religiously persecuted lovers want to be sent for resettlement in Canada or Australia. The UN office understood their concern and therefore promised to send them to Australia as soon as possible. Shortly after, the two intimate lovers have been sent as resettled refugees to Melbourne City, which is the coastal capital of the southeastern Australian state of Victoria. In the meantime, after his return to Sudan, Dr. Munir phoned Isra's parents and told them that he broke his engagement with their daughter. Maulana Sheikh Al-Qadir almost had a heart attack when Munir told him he had not seen his daughter or known where she had gone. Moreover, he told him that he has no knowledge that his daughter had been given to him in marriage inside the big mosque without his presence, knowledge and consent. Immediately, the extremely angry Imam and his outraged wife rushed like mighty warriors to the office of Mr. Abdul Basit and demanded to know where their daughter had gone. They have threatened the Abdul Basit family that they shall sue them in the Sharia court if they do not reveal the whereabouts of their only daughter. On the same day, Mr. Abdul Basit contacted his son through the phone and asked him about his Muslim bride Isra Al-Qadir. Munir has falsely claimed that he had neither seen Isra nor known that she had been married to him in his absence, and their wedding celebrated by a bride without her groom. Moreover, he broke the disturbing news to his father that he had already got married to a highly educated girl by the name of Shahines Shams al-Din, who is a citizen of the capital city, and his classmate in the Medical College of Khartoum University. When Munir's parents have come to know that their son got married to his classmate, they have almost exploded in anger. After that, the outraged parents have not left a stone unturned in searching for the missing bride, Isra. Although the wealthy business tycoon has sought the help of the Sudanese police intelligence, still the police could not help him in his search this time. The Khartoum International Airport records have shown that over a couple of months ago a Sudanese girl by the name Isra Al-Qadir had boarded her plane from Sudan and headed to Egypt and landed at the Alexandria International Airport. The office of the Sheraton International Hotel Management has admitted that the Sudanese girl Isra Al-Qadir checked in and stayed for 14 days. The last thing they knew about her, she vacated the hotel and moved out. They have no idea where she went, and it is not their business to know where the hotel's guests go after they checked out. Then the Sudanese father inquired about his son Munir. The hotel management confirmed that the groom Mr. Munir Abdul Basit and his bride Shahines Shams al-Din had stayed for a quite long time in the hotel during their honeymoon. After they checked out, the hotel management did not know where they went. After that, Mr. Abdul Basit tried to convince the imam of the mosque to give him more time to find out where his daughter went, but the angry wife of Maulana convinced her husband to involve the police. When the case reached the Sharia court and the criminal court, the media has stepped in, and it became a big issue in Sudan. All the Khartoum city and Wad Madani city's newspapers wrote about the missing Muslim bride whose father is the greatest imam and religious leader in the city of Wad Madani, and her father-in-law is the richest man in the Al Jazeera province. Consequently, Mr. Abdul Basit was arrested and detained on the same day the Imam Sheikh Al-Qadir lodged a complaint against him. According to the complaint, the richest man in Wadi Madani is accused of kidnapping, raping, imprisoning, and murdering the virgin daughter of the greatest religious man in that city. Despite that, the wealthy business tycoon Mr. Abdul Basit came out of jail after 24 hours. He has been bailed by his own rich wife Sarah. His rich wife paid 50 billion Sudanese pounds as bail for her accused husband. As soon as he came out of the lockup, Mr. Abdul Basit has appointed a private detective and promised to pay him a huge amount of money if he can find out the whereabouts of that accursed missing daughter of the imam of the biggest mosque in his city. The private detective is an Egyptian and has his office in Cairo City. Mr. Abdul Basit has employed the Arab detective by phone because he is not allowed to go out of Sudan until his legal case is dealt with by either the Sharia court or the criminal court. His Sudanese passport has been taken from him on the day he had been arrested at his huge mansion. It took the Egyptian private detective 1 week to unearth the mysterious disappearance of the missing Sudanese bride Isra Al-Qadir. According to the report, Isra stayed for 2 weeks in the Sheraton Hotel before she moved out. The first week she lived all alone in her deluxe room. After that, her groom came from Sudan and joined her and stayed with her in the same room. Her groom is a Sudanese Christian boy and is known as Mamdouh Abdul Masi. He is originally from the city of Wad Madani. After 1 week Isra and Mamdouh left the hotel and moved into an apartment in the High Al Ramal neighborhood. In that apartment the couple lived for 35 days. Where they went after they left that apartment, the detective could not find out. Mr. Abdul Basit has immediately connected the dots and remembered what his son told him about the secret love affair between Isra and the uncircumcised infidel Christian boy Mamdouh. He has become extremely outraged when he concludes that the girl Isra had tricked him and used his money and ran away with her unclean Coptic boyfriend. Moreover, he became more furious when he understood that he had been fooled by Maulana and his wife, and had been given a pregnant girl as a daughter-in-law. He regretted that he did not take seriously the complaint of his son, and investigated the issue of her illegal pregnancy before he went and contracted her in marriage to his beloved son, Dr. Munir. Therefore, Mr. Abdul Basit has picked up his cell phone immediately and broke the disturbing news to Maulana Sheikh Al-Qadir. The incredible news has hit the heart of the virtuous Imam as a bolt of powerful lightning. He could not believe his ears when he has heard that his bad Muslim daughter Isra fell in love with an infidel Christian boy called Mamdouh Abdul Masi. She had even committed adultery with him before marriage, became pregnant by his unclean Wad Haram, and eloped with her uncircumcised, unclean, and infidel Christian dog. Such a piece of incredible information has caused the blessed Imam to have a major heart attack. He has been at once rushed to the hospital by his wife Hagar, and admitted into the intensive care unit. After talking to the Imam of the mosque, Mr. Abdul Basit has called his wife Sarah, and informed her about the cheating of Maulana and his wife. Furthermore, he told her that the girl Isra in fact was pregnant by an illegitimate baby when she was given in marriage to their beloved son, Dr. Munir. Like her husband, Sarah has become exceedingly outraged and began to shake like a reed and foam in her mouth. Therefore, she has immediately phoned the wife of the Imam, Hagar, who is also known as Fatima al-Zahra, and insulted her with an awfully filthy language before she told her that her dirty daughter is a whore, and had committed adultery, and become impregnated by an infidel Christian boy known as Mamdouh, and ran away with him to Egypt and wedded him in an un-Islamic haram marriage. She married her Christian adulterous lover, while she was still legally married to her Muslim husband Munir. She then told her even a Muslim prostitute might not do what her whore daughter had done in Egypt. Then Sarah spat 7 times on Hagar before she disconnected the line. The holy wife Hagar has not been so much troubled by the news of the abominable love affair and illegal pregnancy of her bad daughter because she already had some knowledge about them. However, the second part of the unacceptable and unpardonable sin has troubled her so much. She wished that she could lay hand on the neck of her bad daughter and strangle her to death. She regretted that she didn't murder her on the day she caught her writing a letter to the unclean infidel Christian boy who raped her virgin pussy and filled her holy womb with disgrace. She understood that the honorable name of her late father and the righteous name of her holy husband are going to be dragged to the sewer and smell with shame in the city when the news of the nasty scandal is leaked out and reached the media. When the news has reached the media, the two intimate lovers Isra and Mamdouh are enjoying their happy married life in Athens and knowing nothing about the troubles that their so-called abominable love affair has caused in the city where they were born and brought up by their families who are following different religions. By then, they have already applied for refugee asylum based on the religious persecutions they had faced in Sudan due to their religious differences. Their applications have been approved, and they become refugees in Athens. They are waiting for their resettlement in Australia. In the meantime, the people of the city of Wadi Madani have continued to talk about the scandal of the daughter of the Imam of the biggest mosque, Maulana Sheikh Al-Qadir, for many years to come. A few good people have concluded that it was the power of love that led the daughter of such a holy and righteous Muslim Imam to break all social norms and religious barriers and defied her Islamic faith and culture and Muslim parents, and ran away with her Christian boyfriend and married him against the Islamic Sharia. Then she had eloped with him to another city or country, but no one knows where those two daring lovers had gone. About the author of this novel. Dr. A. Ahmed is an author and scholar. He has 5 university certificates, BA, MA, and PhD, in philosophy and comparative studies of religions from India, and a bachelor's and a master's degrees in religious studies and philosophy from Canada. He was born and brought up as a Muslim, but through his study of philosophy and comparative studies of religions he converted to Christianity. He has a unique writing style that can break through any religious, social, and cultural barriers and reveal the truth as it is. In addition, his books are based on first-hand eyewitness because he witnessed those dire conditions of Muslim women with his own eyes. He has written 25 books, but so far has published 10 of them. His books have been written in English and translated by him into Arabic. All his books are on the issues of women in Muslim societies and terrorism in Islam. Some of his books are available on his YouTube pages as he reads them in English and Arabic.